welcome to the Intuitively Wild podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Levine. Living intuitively wild is about coming back home to ourselves. Here we talk about how to live connected to ourselves, others, and nature, and make a commitment to radical authenticity, vulnerability, and acceptance. On this podcast, we delve into a wide range of topics that span the human experience. We peel back the layers and talk about the things that are often not talked about. This is a space for us all to walk and wander this path of life together. Let's dig into our roots and go deep. Hello, testing. I think it's working. Hi. Welcome to the Intuitively Wild podcast, the very first episode. I'm so excited to be here. So excited. I have wanted to do this for a very, very long time, truly. I've always loved podcasts. I've always been obsessed with listening to them, and I've always envisioned myself of having my own, really for as long as I can remember, since podcasts have become a thing. But I've stopped myself from doing it for a long time for various reasons. The biggest one being this imposter syndrome, this feeling of who am I? There are already so many amazing podcasts out there, and so many people who already have a platform, who already have the ability and audience to have the impact I want to have, probably, and do it better. But my whole message, my whole life purpose is built around listening to my intuition and following my heart and being authentic to myself. And I wouldn't be doing those things if I didn't listen to the call to start this podcast. So I'm going for it. And it's really vulnerable and it's really scary, but that's another reason, honestly, I know I need to do it. I need to face that fear and use my voice in this way, because I have spent a large majority of my life keeping myself small and quiet and shutting myself down in order to appease others and be someone that got along with everyone and who everyone liked, and appear as this perfect person who is always grounded and put together. I believed I had to be here only to serve others. I couldn't talk about myself or my struggles, my thoughts or my feelings. I had to be the one everyone came to for help, but I couldn't need help. I felt it was too self-serving, self-centered, dramatic, all these words. And I always had to be grounded and put together and be good. And I don't think I did a good job of appearing that way. And it didn't serve me well. It ultimately led to my rock bottom. Maybe several rock bottoms. But it was these rock bottom moments that allowed me to build myself back up and to see how important it is for me to use my voice and to share my thoughts and share my feelings, both equally for myself and for others. Speaking about my emotions and what's on my heart and going deep into things that are hard to talk about truly feels like one of my main purposes in life. And my ultimate goal is to be able to help us all walk and wander this journey of life together. And that's what the intention of this podcast and my business in general is about. It's about getting to know ourselves on a really deep level and removing the shame from the things we feel like make us wrong. It's about coming back home to ourselves. It's about removing what is no longer serving us so we can reconnect to our truth and relearn how to live in alignment with our intuition. And on this podcast, I want to talk about how to live connected to ourselves, others, and nature, and make a commitment to radical authenticity, vulnerability, and acceptance. On this podcast, I plan to delve into a wide range of topics that span the human experience, from my loves, human design, yoga therapy, and herbalism, to mental health and living in recovery, to stories about traveling, relationships, and all the little journeys along the way. Honestly, very little is off limits. This podcast will go deep into it all. And I think that it will shift and grow as I do, and it will vary depending on how I'm feeling that week as the little emotional authority manifesting generator that I am. Some episodes will be more informational, some more conversational, but I really just want to peel back the layers and talk about the things that are often not talked about. My intention is to create a space where we can all work on reconnecting to our authenticity and intuition by talking about these things. Space where all of our shadows can be brought into the light so we can see that there was nothing to be afraid of or to hide in the darkness to begin with. So we can all feel a little more understood, a little more seen, a little more connected. I am aiming to create a space to highlight the unique magic of everyone and everything. I truly don't know one person in my life who doesn't have a profound story to tell that would impact whoever hears it. And so a big intention of mine is to bring people onto the podcast to have these conversations together. And not only experts or public figures, but just quote unquote everyday people, because everyone has a story to tell. Everyone. We all have different journeys we are meant to take and experiences we are meant to have, and growth and pain and lessons and gifts to share from that. And I want to provide a space for people to share what they've been through, to share the stories that will help others and help them feel more full and healed and whole. And with that being said, if there's any topics that you would really like to discuss, that you wish were talked about more, anything that you're curious about or interested in, please do not hesitate to reach out. I would love to know what's on your mind, what topics you want to shed light on. You can definitely submit anonymously, or you can come on the show or something in between. But let's talk about it. When I look back on my journey and a lot of the heartbreak I've been through, so much of it could have been eased and avoided through talking about it. If we had just been able to have an open conversation in different communities about these taboo topics or these harder topics that we try to turn our heads from. I don't know what we're all trying to hide or why we're all trying to pretend. We all go through hard times. We all struggle, So I think it's time that we stop pretending that we don't. And that's how we heal, and that's how we feel alive. And that's how we get to know ourselves. So let's deepen our connection to ourselves, to each other, to our intuition. And let's talk about what people shy away from talking about. I also want to add that I am a yoga therapist, herbalist, and human design reader, I've gone deep into my trainings for all of these and continue to be a part of communities and learning with experts in the fields. And I'm so passionate about them and truly feel that they are modalities that can help us heal and really reconnect to ourselves. So I'm speaking from a place of knowledge and passion and experience, my own lived experience and learned experience. Thank you so much for listening to this first mini episode of Intuitively Wild, the podcast. Much more and many more episodes to come. If you want to reach me, you can find me at Intuitively Wild, intuitivelywild.com. Please feel free to email me any thoughts, comments. I'm open to it all. Constructive criticism, things you want to talk about. I am working one-on-one with clients with yoga therapy, herbalism, and human design, either as separate entities or my favorite, combining all three. I also have herbal products and much more on that coming soon. Just so grateful to be connecting with you all in this way and so grateful to you for listening. That's all for now, and I will talk to you very soon. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Intuitively Wild, the podcast. I hope it helped deepen your connection to yourself, sparked some insights, and inspired you to live intuitively wild. If you enjoyed this podcast, it would mean so much to me if you would share it with others and leave a rating and review. And please reach out to me. I would love to connect with you. I will see you next time for more magic.